I think this is not only obviously the biggest fight of Terence Crawford's career, but in a career that's filled with almost nothing but huge fights, this is the biggest fight of Canelo Alvarez's career.
A lot stronger, and I think he's going to have better endurance. Not being able to boil himself down like that, and even though it is a huge jump, I think we lose sight of the fact of how much he had to boil down and how gaunt he looked at 140.
You said you don't think, or you don't look into the weight difference. Why?
When you know how to box, when you're as skillful as Terence Crawford is, weight don't really matter much.
In the build-up to the highly anticipated clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, Max Kellerman has shared his final word on the matchup. Serving as part of Netflix's star-studded broadcast team for this historic event, Kellerman offers his trademark blend of sharp analysis and deep historical context. With the fight already being billed as one of the most significant showdowns in modern boxing, his perspective adds weight to the sense that fans are witnessing more than just a bout. It's a defining moment in the sport's legacy.
Great chin. But in terms of if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall suite of skills, recent vintage, it's been Crawford. Mm-hmm. But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guy. Yeah.
Max Kellerman isn't pulling any punches in his assessment of the Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford showdown. He's calling it the most watched championship fight in nearly half a century, drawing a direct comparison to the legendary Muhammad Ali-Leon Spinks rematch of 1978, which captured an audience of 90 million viewers. Kellerman underscores that with Netflix at the helm, this bout goes far beyond being another marquee event. It represents a seismic shift in boxing's business model. Instead of relying on traditional pay-per-view numbers, he predicts the platform will deliver viewership on a scale the sport hasn't seen in decades, multiplying exposure and redefining how fans experience major fights.
Where would you rank this fight out of your top 3 to 5 of all the boxing fights you've called, you've experienced, you've watched?
In terms of the magnitude of the
magnitude,
fight?
Yeah.
I mean, of the fights that I've called ringside, it might turn out to be number 1. I've done Pacquiao fights, I've done Mayweather fights, I've done Anthony Joshua against Klitschko. Those are big fights, but because of Netflix, this will be the most watched fight, championship fight, in almost 50 years. This is going to be because Muhammad Ali fought Leon Spinks in the rematch in '78, and they did 90 million TV sets. 90 million. And since then, what has even come close? The biggest fights have all been on pay-per-view, and they do 2 million buys. Oh my God, 3-4 million buys, Mayweather Pacquiao. As I keep saying, if 5 people per TV set watch, that's 20 million people. This is going to do multiples of that. So when you look at it from like a commercial point of view, it'll easily be the biggest boxing event I've ever covered.
Fight promoter Dana White has confirmed that Max Kellerman will return to the broadcast booth as part of Netflix's official commentary team for the blockbuster Canelo Alvarez vs. Terence Crawford showdown on September 13, 2025. Kellerman, the veteran analyst known for his celebrated runs with ESPN and HBO, will join John Onik and Hall of Famer Andre Ward in calling the action live from Allegiant Stadium. The move marks a major comeback for Kellerman to high-profile televised boxing, and he made no effort to hide his enthusiasm at a recent press event, calling the matchup the perfect storm. He praised both fighters as pound-for-pound elites, noting that Crawford currently gets his vote as the sport's number 1, while Canelo held that universal recognition not long ago. Kellerman emphasized just how rare such a clash is, reminding fans that throughout boxing history only about 25 to 30 fighters have ever earned true pound-for-pound status, and now 2 of them are set to collide on the same stage.
Exclusive category.
We'll bring up the first member of our broadcast team. He is the best boxing analyst in the sport. Ladies and gentlemen, Max Kellerman.
All right, so I know you guys are excited about this fight, but I don't think you understand what a big deal it is. This is a perfect storm. Perfect storm. First of all, Turki Al-Sheikh. We're lucky he happens to be a boxing fan. You know, none of this happens if he doesn't happen to be a boxing fan. It's just none of us are here. Nick Khan, best in the business. Dana White. Dana White is the greatest combat sports promoter of my lifetime. And it's his first ever boxing promotion. So that's who's behind what you're going to see. You know how best pound for pound fighter in the world. Most recent one. Bud Crawford. Apologies to the monster and Usyk. Bud Crawford has my vote for best pound for pound. Who was the best pound for pound before Bud? Canelo Alvarez, universally recognized that way. But it's not just these two guys, the last two best pound for pound fighters in the world. There haven't been that many. Before Canelo, who do you have? Before Canelo, Floyd or Andre Ward, Floyd Mayweather. Before, you could take the lineage back. There've only been, I don't know, 25 or 30 fighters who ever lived who you said that's the best pound for pound fighter in the world. These are two of them, the last two. And they're gonna fight in Las Vegas on September 13th. Canelo is 62-2. 2 draws, 62-2-2. So was Marvin Hagler when Sugar Ray Leonard moved up to fight him and they produced one of the biggest spectacles in the history of boxing. This fight is a perfect storm. I could not be more excited to be a part of it.
Timothy Bradley Jr. believes the opening round of Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford won't deliver fireworks but rather a measured chess match. He predicts both men will start cautiously, resisting the urge to take risks while studying each other's rhythm, timing, and distance. Bradley points out that Crawford is known for pacing himself in big fights, patiently setting traps before striking. Similarly, Canelo often uses the early rounds to size up his opponent and make adjustments. Bradley's read is that fans should expect a tactical, subdued round one focused on gathering information, with a real action building as the fight progresses.
You know, in the beginning, it's all the position balance. Like both guys are going, trying to get balance, trying to find their rhythm. You know, understanding their distance to where they can punch and at the same time avoid getting hit. You know, it takes Crawford a little bit more time than I would say Canelo to get right to it. Canelo, although he is a prolific counterpuncher, fantastic counterpuncher, you know, he tends to find his spots a lot quicker. You know, and the indication of that is when, if you look at any of the boxers that Canelo has faced, Chow, even Danny Jacobs, even when he fought against Charlo, you just check out the first round. You know, he usually takes off, just feels the power, you know, cruises, you know, see what these guys know, couple of feints, level changes, you know, just gathering information, right? Crawford does the same and similar things. So I think the first round's going to be a real, like, calm and cautious round by both fighters. But in the second round, Canelo's going to start applying that pressure. Pre-engagement with Crawford is a little bit more difficult than a Charlo, okay? And let me explain. So pre-engagement is the movements before you get into that sweet spot, which is mid-range, to be able to let your hands go, right? Both guys are trying to counter each other's movement. Both guys are looking at each other's, you know, hands, trying to anticipate what they believe is going to come next. During those periods right there, Crawford is one of the best at it, okay? Because he's smart, he's cerebral. Like, a fighter to a fighter, we can feel when another fighter is like, oh, he's on my rhythm.
Terence Crawford's unanimous decision victory over Israel Madrimov at 154 pounds was far more than another addition to his resume. It was a legacy-defining moment. In his junior middleweight debut, Crawford captured the WBA title, becoming a 4-division world champion and joining one of boxing's most exclusive clubs. Even more historic, he became the first male fighter of the 4-belt era to claim undisputed championships in 2 divisions, super lightweight and welterweight. solidifying his place among the sport's all-time greats. This milestone underscored Crawford's unmatched versatility, proving his mastery isn't confined to a single weight class. Madrimov entered the fight with a reputation for raw physicality and strength, yet Crawford dismantled those advantages with patience, precision, and tactical brilliance. He carried his trademark ring IQ, sharp timing, and airtight defense seamlessly into a heavier division, showing that his skills don't just survive against bigger men, they thrive. For fans and analysts, the Madrimov fight was confirmation. Crawford is not merely climbing the scales, he is excelling at every stop. The win reinforced his reputation as one of the most adaptable, durable, and dangerous fighters in modern boxing, cementing his legacy as a generational talent.
High-stakes matchup.
I think Bud gonna fix it up. I think Canelo a hell of a fighter. I think Bud just got other tools.
You don't think the weight difference is too big of an advantage?
I think y'all make that something, In certain fights, yeah. Like if this was like a Benavidez, he's actually a lot bigger than Bud, so that would like fly. But I feel like with Canelo, he's like physically kind of big, but like height-wise, he's kind of small. So I don't think so much. I think that's possible. Like I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but I think it's a possibility if Canelo gets to acting out of line. Not understanding that Bud could crack too.
He spent Crawford from 2018 until August of 2024, right? 6 years at 147. Okay, and he's had 8 fights at 147, all knockouts, and 1 fight at 154, which is unanimous decision over Israel Madrid. So you can make the case he's actually a welterweight jumping to 168. He did make a pit stop at 54 and became a champion. So we have to acknowledge that, because that goes into his accomplishment. That makes him a 4-division champion. So concern is Terence Crawford jumping up in weight. This is a weight class that Canelo Alvarez has now been in since 2020. He's been at this weight for 5 years when he made his debut against Kellerman. But remind you, he fought against Danny Jacobs at 160 in 2019. Then in November of 2019, he jumped to 75 and fought Sergey Kovalev. Then came back down to 78. So it's doable, right? But with that said, everybody's concerned with the weight, how Terence Crawford puts on the weight. So let's explain it. As you see the new photos that Terence Crawford has leaked, Terence Crawford has lean bulks. Okay, as you see here, Terence Crawford, right? He has lean bulks. Okay, he put the bulk on in his weight, in his legs, and in his shoulders to be able to take the punch.